Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and welcome to the 6th video of our remake series. And today we have Zilla Jr. versus Raging Brachydios. Y'all know what it is? Y'all know what we do here? Let's begin. So, Zilla Jr., right, is basically the offspring of the Zilla from the 1998 Godzilla movie. And he went on to basically surpass his birth father in all forms and means here. So let's talk about his physical strength. Height. Zilla is able to, with just his neck and jaws, is able to throw the sentient manticore statue, who weighs over 20,000 metric tons. He's been able to knock out the cryptoclides by smashing an undersea mountain. He's been able to actually harm kaiju that would scale to his durability, with him being able to withstand island level explosions. And yeah, he took a island explosion at like point blank range and was fine. Keep in mind as well, this is it's not an official size chart, but at least the most accurate one I can find here. Most of these monsters weigh more than Zilla himself, who is around the 198,000 metric ton margin. With monsters like King Cobra, the DNA creature, sorry, not the DNA creature, the trash creature, I'm trying to say here, and obviously El Guaso, weighing way more than he does. Even if you want to say it's like a 2 times multiplier or 2 times difference in size, if you just multiply that and do the math yourself, he's ridiculously heavy. And yet Zilla's able to pull these guys with his jaws, claws, and everything else here. However, his real scaling comes from these two monsters. For starters, the Sub-Zero Manta, where Zilla was able to produce a supercell storm. This has been calculated around the large country margin to continental levels of attack potency. And I can also agree with this because Zilla is able to create his own warm front, while the Sub-Zero Manta is able to create his own cold front, which again produces country levels of energy. But let's go with the higher end and let's do continental. Zilla would then go on to get stronger than that and fight against a monster known as Medusa. Medusa is a monster that has the statement of being able to absorb all of Earth's water. And yeah, she was actually doing this during the episode here. This is noted to be a multi-continental feat, and even things like fusion core missiles couldn't work against her at all. Yet Zilla, with his atomic breath and his strength alone, were able to simply just beat Medusa, at least into submission here. He would then go on to fight monsters that are much stronger than that, and this should honestly just put him at like a planetary level at this point here, considering he is scaling above a lot of monsters that will either be able to do the multi-continental feats all the way until, well, at least small planet or at least planetary. Zilla in speed, right, in both combat and reaction speed, are able to literally perceive the hummingbirds. Now, these giant mutated hummingbirds are actually so powerful, or at least, able to manipulate light waves or manipulate light itself here upon their wings, meaning Zilla is still able to perceive these creatures despite the fact that they're using light in order to make themselves invisible. He's even able to react to their attacks, and considering they're using light to not only move but to conceal and use them to speed blitz things, this should make Zilla faster than light, or at least somewhat relative to light speed attacks. He was also able to go toe-to-toe with other monsters that were planned for at least a later season, such as the Flying Gigan, which was, again, one of the stronger monsters in the series. So at the end of the day here, Zilla Jr. should be at least planetary, faster than light, with other capabilities such as his atomic breath, burrowing, and his high levels of intelligence. So let's talk about his opponent, Raging Brachydios. And my God, I gotta say this was one of the hardest fights in Monster Hunter World of all time. It was just an absolute nail biter. Now, Raging Brachydios are actually variants of actual full-grown male brachydios, fully mature males that actually bonded with a mold known as the blast mold, or blast slime, I believe. Now, this is only given, or at least only obtained, by the strongest of the lineages of brachydios, with even, males that try this sometimes having their shells explode and almost killing them. sometimes of them actually dying because their shells aren't able to withstand this kind of explosion. Regular Brachydios are normally able to compete with monsters and possibly even eat other ore monsters. I will be explaining that in the ecology section of Wave 6 here with Brachydios' ecology here. And they should actually be able to scale to monsters like Gravios, who have been able to push back Elder Dragon level monsters like a Cantor, and should easily be above ones like Basarios here. Now, I'm not saying that Raging Brachydios will be able to beat a Cantor, but it should be able to cause a lot more damage and probably give it a serious injury here. And considering the fact that Brachydios may actually be not only just an ore eater, but is known to be a carnivore as well, this would put Gravios on possibly the menu here, with Brachydios probably beating most of its prey into submission, or simply just crushing it with its giant mallets of hands. We also know Brachydios scales above Agnactor, who is actually able to cause volcanic eruptions apparently. I remember reading this in one guidebook or something like that, where enactors were known to somehow cause volcanic eruptions by simply burrowing in. This may mean that they're able to do something to the volcanoes themselves, but even then, that would still be around like the island levels of attack potency, and Brachydios should easily scale above that because he's able to, well, beat the mess out of and kill an enactor. He should also scale to the deviants, or at least the variants of the Fated Four, like Elder Frost Gammoth, Bolt Reaver, Soulseer, and especially Hellblade. Now, I know the Monster Hunter World book shows Glavenus doing this, but I think we all generally agree upon that Hellblade Glavenus should be the only one capable of actually doing this. And I don't know, it's just a little weird how a regular Glavenus should be able to do this to Devil Joe. But let's go with more of the consensus here and actually agree that this is Hellblade, which would scale, I guess you could say scale pretty equal to Raging Brachydios here, with Devil Joe being below Raging Brachydios here. Devil Joe would still be an Elder Dragon level threat here, with him being able to stalemate Elder Dragons such as Valhazak, Namiel, and Velkhana, even having turf wars with Nergigante and Fierce Razang, who are confirmed to be on the same level. Now, with Velkhana also appearing in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, this actually gives us more, I guess you could say, worldly scaling here, or at least franchise scaling here. Now, while I still think Nergigante is the top dog here, you can still scale Raging Brachydios relative to, if not slightly inferior to Nergigante. I don't really know how to really put it here. Maybe he'd be above Nergigante, but still weaker than Runer Nergigante. You guys get my point, right? Now, Malzeno would scale to Geismagorm, and we don't really know how this fight really played out. We just know that Malzeno was the one who defeated Geismagorm, who was able to create this crater, which I do believe Godzilla King of the Monsters himself, go to his channel, did calc this around, or at least showed calculations around country level for this feat here. So again, around the country levels. And if you want to go with the Nergigante route, with him being above multiple Elder Dragons that are capable of doing multi-continental stuff, like Amatsu, who's able to bring a storm to the entirety of the Kimura region, and the Elder Dragon Sheriff Ishvaldo, which Nergigante was going to kill anyway, and even confirmed in the world book that Sheriff Ishvaldo's armor wasn't going to be able to do anything to stop Nergigante. This confirms that Nergigante should be vastly above even a full-powered Sheriff Ishvaldo and a full-powered Amatsu here, with them both showing multi-continental to possibly even moon levels of attack potency. Nergigante should easily be in the planetary margin, and you can easily translate that back to a Raging Brachydios pretty easily. With a regular Brachydios here, we still see how they're able to fight and compete with each other and even fight against the Hunter, which Raging Brachydios does, but just 10 times better. You see, Brachydios' slime mold, or now blast mold ability, allows him to basically put this slime on its opponent and have it simply just, detonate, causing the monster to either die instantly and giving Brachydios a free meal, or deterring a rival. Brachydios' shell is also extremely durable against attacks from even like magma-based monsters. So attacks from monsters like Uragon, Rathalos, Rathian, Agnactor, Gravios. And again, these monsters do share the same environment, and it's very possible that they will bump into each other. It's also able to take bites from Tiger-Rex, the jaws of an Odogaron, which has one of the most powerful bites in Monster Hunter, which I will be explaining in, again, my ecology section here, so look forward to that here. And Brachydios is just simply able to tank it with barely any, and I mean any, injury to his body, and is still able to come out on top against these monsters with some relative ease here. Now, Brachydios is also able to use his slime mold to cover the entire battlefield with ease and produce these large amounts of explosions. Kind of obvious, right? But who wins this battle more often than not? The Zilla or the Brachydios? Let's talk about it here. Now, Brachydios could easily disrupt a lot of Zilla's attacks here, mainly his burrowing capabilities, especially with his, blast mode and stuff like that, being able to use an eruption ability, and it would just kind of, I guess you could say, mess up Zilla's entire game of kind of like burrowing beneath his opponent or burrowing to get to his opponent. However, I do think Zilla is faster. While you could scale Brachydios above a lot of monsters, or at least relative to monsters like Odogaron, who are able to dodge even the TTTT Yaku's light here, I still think Zilla should be relatively faster. He's shown more agile-like feats against opponents that should be very similar, if not slightly faster than he is. Now, Raging Brachydios' advantage is that he can actually, leave the blast mode on Zilla and continuously detonate it. This will cause problems. However, Zilla's atomic breath can also cause problems. He has a lot more long-range capabilities, and his atomic fire seems to have a little bit of a different kind of property to it, being able to even burn things or even stay active on things like water. So again, I think either the heat or the force of the blast here could possibly upset Raging Brachydios' slime mode if it goes into an enraged state. I think physically speaking, these two are somewhat closer here, but Zilla definitely has better close combat mechanics, being a lot more agile, a lot more quick-witted, and he's a lot more intelligent. I actually don't think that Brachydios would actually counter the the burrowing abilities, at least not yet here. But I do think Zilla burrowing and maybe even trying to drag Brachydios underground may even prove to be much to his better. And it's very possible Zilla could use burrowing to possibly collapse the ceiling of any area that they're in, on top of Brachydios, if they fight in these sort of neutral-like locations here. Plus, I do think Zilla would be pretty good in Monster Hunter World in general. I might make that for an in-between video to kind of give you guys how I would feel about it. But anyway, despite the fact that I think these two are really equal in terms of their physical makeup, meaning their strength and durability, I think Zilla's faster, better long-range capabilities, and his much better intelligence gives him the win overall. Man, that's gonna be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it to friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.